you're doing on that porch?
I'm unlocking my own door.
Don't give me that. I saw you trying the handle. You're trespassing.
Ma'am, calm down. Step back.
These are my keys. I live here. No, you don't.
Sir, just keep your hands where we can see them. Let's slow it down. Everyone take a breath.
Get the hell off this property. Funny thing is, I have the deed in my glove box. I have the keys in my pocket. I have the bank statements showing every dollar I paid for this house. But none of that matters right now because the woman standing on my porch with a clipboard is screaming at me like I'm the criminal. Like I'm the one who broke in. Like I'm the one stealing something that doesn't belong to me. Let me take you back 3 hours. I was excited. More excited than I've been in years. After 14 years of renting apartments, after working double shifts and saving every extra penny, I finally bought my first home. A nice one-story house on a quiet street in Willowest Ridge. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. All mine. I signed the papers 3 weeks ago. I watched the bank process the payment. I held the keys in my hand and felt like I'd finally made it. I had to wait to move in because of work. One last contract to finish. Some final things to wrap up at my old apartment. But today was the day. Today, I pulled my car up to my new house, ready to unlock my own front door and start the rest of my life. Instead, I see a minivan in my driveway, kids' bikes on my grass, a doormat I never bought sitting on my porch, and lights on inside, curtains moving, curtains I don't own. I tell myself it's a mistake. Maybe the realtor messed up. Maybe contractors are still working inside. I grab my suitcase from the trunk and walk to the door. My heart is beating hard, but I'm still telling myself there's an explanation. Then the door opens. A woman I've never seen before is standing there. 2 little kids behind her, peeking around her legs. She's holding a set of keys. My keys. I know because I recognize the little red tab I put on the ring. She asks if she can help me, like I'm the stranger. Like I'm the one who doesn't belong. I tell her this is my house. Her face goes white. Completely white. Like someone drained all the color out of her. Her husband comes up behind her holding papers. He tells me they bought this house 3 weeks ago. They paid in full. The HOA president handled everything personally. That name hits me like a punch. Linda Marwood. The woman who runs the neighborhood association like she's the Queen of England. The woman who calls meetings just to yell at people about their grass length and mailbox colors. I've heard stories about her from the neighbors I met during the walkthrough. Everyone warned me she was difficult. Nobody warned me she was a thief. Before I can say anything else, the husband is on the phone, whispering, calling her. And not even 3 minutes later, a white SUV comes flying down the street and screeches to a stop right in front of the house. She gets out with that clipboard hugged to her chest like it's a shield. Chin up, nose in the air. She looks at me and her face twists up like she just bit into something sore. You again, she says. I already told these nice people that someone like you couldn't possibly own this property. Now stop harassing this family and leave. I tell her I bought this house legally. I have the papers. I have the deed. She waves her hand at me like I'm a bug. Save it. You people always try this nonsense. The police will handle you. Before I can respond, she's on her phone dialing 911. Reporting an intruder. Reporting me. Saying I refuse to leave. The family behind her looks lost. Confused. Scared of her, but also scared of what's happening. I stand there on what's supposed to be my porch, and I wait. Have you ever bought something fair and square only to have someone try to steal it right out from under you? What would you do if you showed up to your new home and another family was already living inside it? Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where our viewers are tuning in from. And if you believe no one should lose their home because of a scammer with a clipboard, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc. We tell stories about people who fight back against fraudsters and win. The sirens get louder. Two cruisers turn onto my street, lights flashing, cutting through the afternoon sun. The neighbors are coming out now, standing on their lawns, watching, waiting to see what happens to the black man on the porch of the house he says is his. This is where the real fight begins. Not with Linda and her clipboard. Not with the confused family inside my house, but with the police. With the people who have the power to take me away from my own property. With the people who have to decide who to believe. I take a breath. I keep my hands where they can see them. And I wait. The first cruiser stops at the curb. Two officers get out. One is a tall guy with broad shoulders and a calm way of moving. The other is a woman with her hand resting near her gun, already looking around, already sizing up the situation. They haven't even reached the walkway before Linda rushes at them. She's pointing at me like I'm a wild animal that escaped from somewhere. She's telling them I'm trespassing. I'm threatening people. I refuse to leave. Her voice is loud and shaky and full of outrage. The officers turn to me. The woman speaks first. She asks me if I live here. She asks me what's happening. I keep my hands where they can see them. I tell them my name is Brandon Hale. I tell them I bought this house 3 weeks ago. Today is my move-in day. I don't know who these people are or how they got inside. Linda starts laughing. Not really laughing, but making this sound like I'm the dumbest person she's ever heard. She tells the officers the house was abandoned. She tells them she handled the sale as untouchable president. She tells them these nice people bought it fair and square. The husband speaks up. He sounds nervous. His voice cracks a little. He says they were told the previous owner forfeited the home. He says they paid in full. He says she showed them all the paperwork. The tall officer steps closer to me. He asks if I have proof. ID. Documents. Anything. I nod. I walk slowly to my car. I can feel their eyes on me the whole time. I open the glove box and pull out the folder I've been carrying for 3 weeks. The original deed, the transfer confirmations, the bank wire receipts, the county stamped purchase record, everything. I hand it over. The officers look through it. Pages and pages of official documents. Dates, signatures, seals. Everything a person needs to prove they own a house. Linda rolls her eyes and says it's fake, obviously fake. The woman officer shoots her a look and tells her to let them do their job. Then they look at the papers from the family inside. Handwritten signatures that don't match anything official. No county seal anywhere. A transfer letter printed on regular paper with an HOA header instead of government letterhead. The tall officer asks where they got these documents. The husband swallows hard and says Linda gave them to them. Both officers turn to Linda. She gets stiff. She says she facilitated the sale because the property was vacant. She says it's part of her authority as untouchable president. The woman officer says no, it's not. Flat. Cold. No question about it. You can feel the shift in the air. The family steps back like they've been pushed. Their eyes get wide. You can see the moment they understand. They've been scammed. Their money is gone. The house isn't theirs. Linda's voice cracks. She says this is ridiculous. He's lying. They're lying. Everyone's lying except me. The officers look at each other. The tall one tells her not to go anywhere. They're going to need backup. Linda's face starts twitching. She takes a small step backward. The tall officer lifts his radio and calls for a fraud unit. The moment he lets go of the button, Linda turns and runs for her SUV. I move before I think. I step in front of her. She tries to go around me, but I'm already there. She swings her clipboard at my head. I grab her wrist. The officers are on us in seconds. The tall one grabs her other arm and twists it behind her back. The woman snaps handcuffs on her. Linda starts screaming. Screaming about harassment, about community standards, about how I'm the one who should be arrested. Nobody listens. Nobody moves to help her. The husband steps forward with the fake papers in his hand. He asks if none of this is real. He says they paid their entire savings. The woman officer tells him no. These aren't legal documents. They were misled. The wife sits down on the porch step. Tears are running down her face. She hugs her kids. She says they didn't know. They trusted her. I look at them and I feel something I didn't expect. Anger, sure, but also sympathy. They got played just like I almost did, just in a different way. I tell them it's not their fault. They were targeted, just like I was. Linda keeps screaming until the tall officer tells her to stop. She finally shuts up. More police show up. A detective gets out of one of the cruisers. He starts separating people for statements. I give him everything. Every paper. Every date. Every detail. The family gives him receipts and emails and messages from Linda. The detective looks through it all. Then he says something that makes everyone stop. This isn't just a misunderstanding. This looks deliberate. Linda, still sitting in the back of the cruiser with handcuffs on, goes completely still. And I have a strong feeling, the detective continues, that this isn't her first time. The detective didn't waste time. While officers kept Linda in the cruiser, he asked for access to the HOA office. 2 neighbors stepped up fast. They'd been dealing with Linda for years. They knew exactly where she kept her files. The small building behind the community pool. The one with the locked door that only she had a key to. Officers went over there. They came back with boxes. Boxes full of papers, forged letters, fake notices, lists of homeowners she targeted over the years, names and addresses and amounts of money she'd taken. The detective spread everything out on the hood of his car. He skimmed through it piece by piece. Then he looked up and confirmed what we all suspected. She built a whole operation. Falsified debts, fake violations, false abandonment claims. She'd been doing this for years. The husband stood there with his wife and kids. His voice was barely a whisper when he said she did this deliberately. For a long time, the detective replied. 2 officers pulled me and the family aside. They checked county records. They matched my deed exactly. The sale was fraudulent. It would be voided. The tall officer handed my papers back and said the house was mine. I'd get full access once they finished processing everything. Relief hit me like a wave. But so did anger. Anger at what this family went through. Anger at how close I came to losing everything. The detective told them they weren't at fault. The state would help them get their money back. It would take time, but it would happen. Then they opened the cruiser door. Linda tried one more time. One last desperate plea. She said they couldn't arrest her. She ran this neighborhood. The detective pulled out the formal arrest form. He said no, she ran a criminal enterprise. They read the charges one by one. Real estate fraud, forgery, fraudulent transfer of property, identity theft, conspiracy, theft by deception. Her voice broke. Her mascara ran down her face. She didn't say anything else. There was nothing left to say. The cruiser drove away. The neighbors went back inside. The family packed up their things. They loaded their minivan with the belongings they'd brought to a house that was never theirs. They didn't look at me when they left. I don't blame them. What do you say to the person whose home you accidentally stole? I stood on my porch. My porch. The one I paid for. The one I signed for. The one I fought for. I stood there and breathed in the evening air and let myself feel it. The nightmare was over. Tomorrow I would move in. Tomorrow I would start the life I'd worked so hard to build. Tonight I would sit on these steps and watch the sun go down over a piece of ground that belonged to me. There's one more thing I need to tell you. Something I learned through all of this. Linda didn't just pick me because I was an easy target. She picked me because she thought I wouldn't fight back. She picked me because she thought the police would believe her over me. She picked me because she thought being the queen of the neighborhood meant she could do whatever she wanted to whoever she wanted. She was wrong. I fought back. I stood my ground. I had my papers ready. I kept my hands where they could see them. I answered every question calm and clear. And in the end, the truth won. Not because I'm special, not because I'm lucky, but because I refused to let someone take what was mine. If you're watching this, and you've ever felt like the system is stacked against you, like the people in power will always believe the other side, like fighting back is pointless because you'll lose anyway, don't give up. Get your papers together. Know your rights. Stay calm. Speak clearly, and make them see the truth. And if you believe scammers like Linda deserve every consequence they face, hit that like button and subscribe to Story Arc. Because standing up to corruption starts with telling these stories, and we're not done telling them yet. The house is mine. The fight is over. But the next one is always waiting. Be ready for it.